Hi, I'm Malcolm and this is Xnox. And recently I've seen this common sentiment among Nintendo creators and some people on my Twitter timeline advocating that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to inevitably in some way, shape, or form go down the route of having a similar outcome or a similar future as the Nintendo Wii U. Now, for those of you who might not know, this is my 2012 black 32GB model Wii U from my childhood, right? If you notice, I don't have the gamepad for this, and the only way I've been able to really play things on it is thankfully my girlfriend has maintained her own gamepad. So congratulations on us for being the only two known Wii U users that actually live in the real world. But beyond that point, I've had this Wii U since the console's launch. And when I see a lot of people attempt to run revisionist history about the system, I get a little bit upset. I get a little bit offended. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I don't know why I grabbed Callie. But I do get a little bit of offended because were you there? Now, to clarify, because this is more of a personal video for me, I grew up in a household where my dad, my mom, myself, and my older sister, all of us had experience playing video game systems and video game consoles. I mention that because let's understand a younger Malcolm Xnox childhood. I grew up, I had an Xbox 360. I had a Wii. My dad upgraded and got the Xbox One. And keep in mind, this is around the Xbox One's launch. Or sometime after. I think maybe my timelines are a little bit confused. But generally speaking, we were Team Microsoft. Right? I remember being on the school grounds, beefing with the little kids, talking about why Master Chief was so much better than anything Sony had. Don't nobody care about Crash Bandicoot. They still kind of don't care about Crash Bandicoot, but beyond that point, I remember being there day one. The only game I really had on my Nintendo Wii U was Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transform, a phenomenal racing game. Okay, I might have maybe inclined or suggested that I might be Team Mario Kart in this current agenda war, but Racing Transform was a phenomenal game, and it definitely got me through the early years of having my Wii U. Along with that, I had Nintendo Land. Can you tell me what games were there for an extended period? And it definitely did not help. One of the biggest issues that the Wii U had is it did not have a valid enough reason to upgrade. What you see today in common gaming spaces of people talking about the PS5 have no games is really funny to me because the Wii U didn't have games either. The Wii U lacked a good enough reason for a consumer base to upgrade to make that jump. Thankfully, I had a mom with common sense that understood the Wii U was a separate console from the Nintendo Wii, but again, that also played into the convention. I doubt it was, I don't think the naming scheme was that important, more so that Nintendo consistently marketed the Wii U with the controller as the main focal point. And if you know anything about the gamepad, it was nothing more than an oversized gimmick. The best utilization I got on my Wii U gamepad was when I wanted to play my 360 and I could use it as a TV remote, because that was truthfully the really only genuinely great thing that thing offered to me, was the ability to change to a better thing. Whenever my dad wanted to watch the baseballs, the footballs, the basketballs, yeah, I could play some games, emphasis on some, because not every title supported it the same way. Where, for me, one of the coolest features of having an Xbox One was that Microsoft Snap feature. If you remember the little Snap feature where, hopefully I can edit this and it looks really cool, but like, you reach in and then it takes a little sidebar out, right? Kind of you're using split screen on an iPad and you could just have a screen right here. I would have like a walkthrough playing right here, or I would read stuff. And I was a little kid, bro, so sometimes when it was time to go, but anyways, with that point in mind, it was a really cool feature. Emphasis on the word feature. The Wii U lacked the conceivable need to upgrade, and it did not help that a vast majority of the system's games were just DLC packs. And when I say DLC packs, I mean it in a sense where you could have shown gameplay footage of Mario U and Mario Wii right next to each other, and the average consumer is not going to be able to pinpoint what exactly is different from each other. I'm a 3D World Glazer. I'm a 3D World Defender. Super Mario Bros. 3D World is my favorite Mario game. And even I could understand someone being confused and just thinking it's more the same, because you got to remember that game in 3D Land shared the same art style. So for a lot of people, it's, oh, hey, this is more 4-player Mario game. I don't want to use the word slop because that's very disingenuous, but it looked like it was nothing more the same, and especially because, remember, the Wii U did not have a game. And when I mean a game, I mean something that is a system seller, something that's going to tell you that I need to get this new system specifically for this, a game that's going to show off that system's features or just be iconic in the grand scheme of things. For the Wii, we had Wii Sports, we had Mario Kart Wii. For the GameCube, we had iconic games. We had Sunshine, even if that game is kind of low-key trash, but we had Sunshine, we had Melee, we had Metroid. I think Metroid Prime started off on the GameCube. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Wind Waker. All these are games that have become synonymous with that era and celebrated to it. The N64, obviously the king, the GOAT. Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, we had GoldenEye, we had Banjo and Kazooie, we had Pilot Wing 64. At this point, I'm just listing things, but those were games. Major motion movers. PS1, you know, synonymous with the PS1? Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot. Parappa-da-rappa. Parappa-da-rappa. Don't get on here rapping. I'm trapping, making it happen. Come on. PS2. If you were an anime fighter, especially if you're a Sparky Zero fan, you know. You know. If you're a Persona fan, you know. You know. PS3, Last of Us. Notice that these are all critically acclaimed and highly celebrated and remembered games. What does the Wii U have? Remember, the Wii U and also by a smaller extension, the 3DS were the main consoles present during the dark age of being a Nintendo fan. You can watch the Scott DeWaz video, does a phenomenal job talking about it, but if you weren't there, there wasn't anything worth playing. There genuinely wasn't anything that told me as a consumer why I should make the jump from my Wii to the Wii U. Now, it is true that the Nintendo Switch did see a lot of these games have a more prosperous future because they were off the dog shit hardware that nobody wanted to buy. But when you put all those things into consideration, we see the Switch 2. What do we see from the Switch 2? The Switch 2 fixes the #1 issue of the Wii U gamepad, or not the Wii U gamepad, but it fixes the #1 issue of that Wii U era of actually knowing to market the system, knowing what the consumer base wants. Because I remember being back there. I remember nobody was like, we want a stronger Wii. We like the gimmick of the Wii. By 2013, when Sony and Microsoft tried to make the jump onto motion controls, people were sick. They were done. They were like, yo, we don't want this no more. Young Thug tweet, boy, slow down, dropping all that bullshit, right? So by that time, they were good. They were good. So any gimmick Nintendo was going to drop had to be revolutionary. And the Wii U gamepad functioning as another screen was not that. That was not the move. But with the Switch, the portable factor of it, to be able to swap to a home console, combining what has been historically Nintendo's strongest facet being their handheld game with their moderately subpar home console game post the N64, they had a match made in heaven. And as someone who was able to experience a lot of the Switch community, the demand for a just stronger Switch was always there. Especially when you're giving and bringing over third-party games. While yes, third-party support is important, you got to remember, if nobody wants to play the Nintendo game on the Nintendo system, and the Nintendo system game is not selling as well as it should, what's the point in purchasing it? Literally what? The Nintendo Switch sold 15 million. 15. Now, I could be wrong on this, and I'm not going to fix this in post if I am wrong, but it sold astronomically low. And that will probably not happen for long. Even the Series S and X, that generation outsold the Wii U. I need y'all to understand how uncharacteristically, catastrophically ass the Wii U was. Now, the Switch 2 answers the problems of having a decent marketing campaign by having a pretty decent one. Being like, hey, it's an upgraded Switch, which y'all have wanted for a long time now. And what does it also have? They brought out the big guns first. They brought out Mario Kart. They brought out Donkey Kong. Dropped it. Oh yeah, Prime 4. The game y'all been wanting for almost 10 years. Buy our damn system. And it worked. It worked. The Nintendo Switch 2 at the time of me recording this video has had, I believe off the top of my head, the number is 2.2 million interests alone. 2.2 million. Off the top of my head, I do believe someone pointed out the statistic is at the PS2, which for the longest time, until Nintendo decide they want to drop new numbers, or until Sony decides they're going to find 50 billion consoles laying around in like some country, is the high selling system in existence. And that had about 600K. Now, while Nintendo consoles are always high in demand upon the week of release, this number should not be scoffed at, especially when you look at a large variety of the gaming discourse about this system being around the pricing point. And I will not lie, the accessories are overpriced. Mario Kart World is overpriced from my perspective right now before I've had an opportunity to really truly get behind and experience that game. But from everything I have seen, the demand for a stronger Switch is there, and that's why people make the jump. That's why I pre-ordered it. I'm keeping it real. If there's anything gamers are known for, gamers and boycotts do not go together. They're like oil and water. Have yet to see a considerably impactful, effective boycott in a long time. So this Twitter outrage stuff does not exist. Does not exist in the real world. I think I'm gonna try to show some footage of when I went to go pre-order my system, but this is my first console pre-order that I've done in person. I'm going to get at launch. And would I recommend everyone go out and buy a Switch 2? Absolutely not. I'm thankful to be in a position where I'm blessed enough to be able to make some slight sacrifices and get to enjoy this system, and I'm in a stable working environment and housing environment. Fingers crossed. But that is why I'm able to make that jump. If there's anything I don't like, is the people pocket watching on the internet. You at home, if you think the idea, the concept of an upgraded Switch and the games being presented are interesting enough for you to cop, go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna pocket watch. I don't care. I'm not paid enough to sit there and, you know, pocket watch each and every one of my subscribers. But that's how I feel with the Switch 2, and that topic, I don't know, is fire, it's not. But anyways, I hope you are having a good one. And hey, maybe if you disagree, you can leave a comment down below and you can call me a bunch of slurs. Anyways, I hope you have a good rest of your day. We gonna get out of here. We gonna chomp, and we gonna yomp. I don't have a joke to end the video on. Why did chicken cross the road? Because the crosswalk wanted $60.